disturbing. Creative rise, I was positive surging. Cosmic folks see emergence. Brain of eternal, hands on my time. Impossible prince can God watch you step in the mind. Soul triggers, power holy divine righteousness. Combined with courage, love of essence. Don't let trauma bind and block your blessings. When you behind the veil, you hear the confession. Give you limitation, corruption, fear, deception. This the age of knowing, evolution, and resurrection. Welcome back to another episode of Talk That Crap. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Impossible, here with my brother Sigma Uno, and we just gonna chop some things up with y'all tonight. It's gonna be a great conversation. We're gonna be dealing with some esoteric, occult knowledge tonight. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna drop some books. We're gonna drop some information. We're gonna drop some things that, hey, you're gonna be saying, hey man, that was a great show. Sigma Uno, tell me a little bit about yourself, brother.
I am Sigma Uno. I am an entrepreneur, a counselor for youth and young adults. I have been at this journey for 50 plus, the road to awakening 20 plus years. And I am a fan of spirituality, a fan of occult knowledge, a fan of anything outside of what they call the norm.
Well, man, with you saying that, you just rolled right into our first topic tonight when we talking about being unhistorical. So it was, hey, you couldn't even make this up, man. You couldn't even script this. So here we are. We're talking about being unhistorical, like the things that have brought you to this place, the journey that it took you to now. We understood that a lot of things that we were taught were lies. We understood that the history that was given to us was to keep us inside of this box of a slave mind. And when I say a slave mind, it's a mentality, not so much to know the self, because a lion is not going to be a slave to a lion's mind. It's going to be a lion.
That's it.
It's not going to accept someone else's history. They know their culture, they know their heritage, and that's how they live. So being unhistorical, what has been some of the things that you have experienced on your journey that was unhistorical that transformed you?
And I have to say it started early. I want to say it started about the age of, let's go back, because we've been experiencing spirituality since I was a child. To really fit in with it and to begin to understand it, I'd say I was 12 or 13, and my mom, her teaching went from a traditional Baptist to exploring other religions because she wasn't very clear that the one that she was under the auspice of was actually true, because there's things that were missing. So I probably have to say I was maybe 13, 14 when I had an experience that pulled me off onto my own road. That's how that was. But that was the experience, was the cross, but the veil between spirituality and the what they call reality collided, and I experienced a lot of spiritual stuff, or spiritual beings that were at the time there for protection, some that weren't, and then me coming to this mindset of having to define what I was encountering or what I was feeling. Um, and it came to a quick understanding that not everybody understands what you're going through, not everybody understands what you're seeing or what you're experiencing. Um, so that was kind of my journey, my beginning journey. The basis of all of everything that I knew was of course the gospel according to African Americans, according to the way I grew up, um, Mississippi based Baptist, and then eventually Church of God in Christ later on down the road. But yeah. So that was the beginning.
I would say the unhistorical journey for me probably started when I was about 28 years old. My cousin Rodney, he gave me this DVD called The Naked Truth, and they gave me the Nile Valley Civilization. And I was like, wait a minute. And through that, right. I mean, and then you went through history. You really started digging through the history books. And they really left it laid out. There's what is called the doctrine of discovery, where literally they could just come in and seize the land, and based upon their religion, they could just take it.
That's it.
Like
that's
history, and we don't know that. Like, how you keep something like that, like a secret, and teach us we free, when actually you still under a particular law that we don't even know how to free ourselves from. So the unhistorical, I said unhistorical. The unhistorical aspect was knowing that history that was taught to me was a lie, and the history that was taught to me had an agenda to it. That for me really broke me into my studies, that really allowed me to expand myself on different areas of life. Now, since you've been on your unhistorical life, because we had to go back and we had to revamp all of those things, is there somewhere in life where the unhistorical made you angry? I mean, besides the doctrine of discovery in its own, that alone makes you mad as hell.
Yeah, that
were there any?
Yeah, what you picked, you hit the nail on the head. So for me, it was a few things. It was it was a Nile Valley contribution civilization, Dr. Broader, and then the other one was the Willie Lynch letter. So the Willie Lynch letter was the very beginning. I had an aunt that sent that information over to me, along with the Gnostic Gospels and some other things that she wanted me to read, but she wanted me to read that first. Man, when I read that, when you talk about a fire lit, because you don't see it. I didn't recognize that we built or done anything until I started realizing there was a force that held us in this place, so we couldn't move forward, and we couldn't do anything based on the idea that we had no idea. We had no idea what kind of power that we had. So when it comes to the Christian Black Codes, Christian Black Codes of 1957, of 1857, excuse me, Christian Black Codes of Louisiana. I mean, I started reading all those things, just trying to understand what kind of hold they have. Then to get to a place to where, yes, the hold is there, but it's taking the blinders off. I understand why majority of our people act the way they act now. I understand why my family members are where they are, because they're stuck in this specific mind frame, and no one has said anything outside of what the available perimeters are. The thing that made me mad, another thing that made me mad, was the idea that, hey, okay, church is supposed to be, the idea of church or religion is supposed to be the truth, right? It's based on the truth, based on you understanding, or coming to a spiritual place to where you're at one and you're connected with the Most High. But my whole thing was, if it was such a bad thing for us to know something, to learn to read, to have an independent mind, if that was so bad, then why is religion allowed to be what it is? You see what I'm saying? So if it was the truth, the unadulterated truth, then we wouldn't be we would they'd be burning churches every weekend if we were getting the complete unadulterated truth, because they don't want us to wake up. So understanding that, understanding the idea of religion, the King James version being a purchase publication, and them spreading it across the United States, or the countries period, so people would have a mindset of community, and they would have a cap on it. So understanding that all that happened, not that there's not any truth in it, but the truth is sporadic, and the truth fits for what they need. So to control a community, that's what it looks like. You see what I'm saying? But there are books outside, like the Book of Thomas, the Book of Enoch, all those books that people are saying the the Book of Solomon, the Testament of Solomon, the Keys of Solomon, all these things that people actually needed to understand with regards to how to fight the enemies that we have, whether they be physical, whether they be spiritual, whether it's an enemy inside of yourself, or whether it's bringing yourself to a place to where you become whole again. All of this began to be a thing that needed to line up in my mind and in my heart. Another book that added to that was the Book of Tree of Life. Book of Tree of Life is the sole idea of us and its of us and our avatars in its entirety. Why we come here, what our perimeters are, what our body consists of, the science of it, all of that is man. It was a complete awakening for me. I'm currently reading the 12 Powers of Man, which has a lot to do with a couple of books that I mentioned earlier. Um, that I got from you. Amazing. But all of these these things, all of these components that down the road begin to add some things that would awaken the knowledge in me. Now, awakening knowledge is one thing. Aligning yourself is something completely different. So what I didn't realize I needed was the alignment of my chakras, the finding out my frequency was, whether it's binaural or theta binaural, whether it's whether it's
Yeah.
432 hertz versus 956 hertz. All of this stuff was important, and all these things are important to you as an individual, as a person. So all of this was a learning process for me. So getting into that portion and then meditating, it kind of brought everything together. It made sense. Then it took me back a few steps to realize, hey, I've had people that have passed on that are ancestors that I need to stay in contact with or to continue to pay homage to. All of this is important in the life and the life in your life period, because these are points of references, whether it's a spiritual, whether it's physical, whether it's you coming to a point of or coming to a new level in your life, or your walk or your existence. All of that is it. All these steps are important. I'm kind of all over the board
No,
with most
no.
of it,
You you
and I
you
haven't.
you rolling right on out. Because I mean,
Right,
this whole
right,
thing is about occult knowledge, the unhistorical.
right,
So you are explaining
right.
the
Hmm.
unhistorical, you're explaining the occult knowledge. You know, you're
Right,
talking about the different books that has enlightened
right,
you. And
right.
there has been many books that has really enlightened me.
Man, man,
Um
man.
I mean, even from so I got the Egyptian Book of the Dead,
Okay, I got that one too. Definitely got you, got
and I got the
you.
Tibetan Book of the Dead.
Okay, gotcha.
You
Don't
know,
have that one. I got to get that
so
one.
of
Uh-huh.
course, occult knowledge we gotta have the Emerald Tablet.
Emerald
You
tablets.
know,
That's what's up. That's what's up. Definitely.
so it was accumulation of all of these different things. So I became
Right.
unhistorical the more I really dealt with
Hmm.
spirit and soul and mind. And that's
Right.
an episode that most people don't want to actually take upon themselves, and especially
Right.
in the book of life, in the tree of life, which I'm reading that I got from you.
Oh man.
When they
Yeah,
first break
definitely.
down those three pillars, they're speaking about light, spirit, and body as one
That's
essence.
it.
We look in the
That's it.
Trinity, which they give, which is consciousness, light, and
Mm-hmm.
soul.
Right.
Right?
And
That's
so
their
it's it.
Trinity.
It's it.
We're given a
It's it.
Trinity
It's
of
it.
Father, Son, and
And
Father,
holy,
Son, and the Holy Ghost. You know,
which makes you
we
look
leaving
outside of
out
yourself. Right.
right. So we leaving out the most dynamic energy of it all, which is feminine energy. Like, how do you get
There you go.
anything
That's
without the
it.
womb?
That's it. You
Everything
cannot.
comes through
You
the
cannot.
womb. There's a cosmic womb called the Vesica Pisces.
Right.
Vesica Pisces,
Right.
whatever you want to
Right.
call it. Everybody call it
That's
different
it.
name. I'm call
Hmm.
it Vesica Pisces.
Right.
Anyway,
Right.
it's the womb. It's all come through the womb.
That's it.
Everything come through
That's
the
it.
womb.
That's
So
it.
all
That's
of
it.
these different books, it took me to different aspects. There was Edgar Tolle, New Earth Consciousness. There's, Dr. Francis
Mm.
Wilson, the ISIS Papers. I mean, we
Right.
can go books
Okay.
and
Yeah,
books behind
that's
one another
it.
all day long. There's another one by
Right.
Neville Goddard called, excuse me, called the Assumption, the Power of Assumption.
There you go.
You know what I
That's it.
mean? Neville Goddard is
Covered
a
by
is a
Amos
great
Russell never
author.
got it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. That's
So
it. Yep.
all of these different things led to the knowledge. Once you gain the
Mm-hmm.
knowledge, you can understand how to see differently. As you stated with the chakra system, you know, a
Right.
lot of people will go off, they'll wear certain clothes. They wear certain clothes and colors and they don't even know why. They have no connection to
Exactly.
clothing
Exactly.
or the colors
Right.
and the vibration in which they're walking in. They just say, "Ooh, this look
That's it.
pretty today," and put this on. Oh, this fly right now.
And they
I'm
don't
gonna
real
drop this on.
right. And don't realize what power lies behind that. There's so much
Mm-hmm.
power in the colors. I mean, and the idea from what oh God, what was it? I can't remember the book, but it was talking about vortexes and stargates, and it was saying that there are multiples. Of course, there are multiple vortexes, but the one stargate that they attempted to begin to shut down was the rainbow. So the colors
Oh
in
yeah.
the colors of the rainbow are based on where the rainbow ends. That was supposed to be a stargate, or it's supposed to be a place that you can go in and come out in a different side of the earth. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So all of this, I can't remember the name. I want to remember the name of that book, and if I can't, I'll find it and send it to you. But
Okay.
all those things are important because it takes us to a place to where we're not just stuck here. I know a lot of people feel like they're stuck here and they're in the same, the same mode of living for majority of their life, and that's all they do. They wake up in the morning, they eat, they go to the bathroom, they go to work or go to school, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, Tuesdays, church, whatever. But it's in being mundane in this place doesn't allow you to think beyond what's here. So the struggle is here. The idea of getting up and being stuck in this mindset that doesn't allow you to reach above anything because of these rules. So I remember again, I was taught differently, but my mom as I got older. Um, but when I was going to be a minister in this church, um, I was asking inquiring about a book that was outside of the Bible, and so they were like, "Oh, you're not supposed to read that book," and I'm like, "Why not? It has something to do with the Bible, doesn't it?" No, no. I said, "Well, who said that we ain't supposed to?" Well, they said, "Who are they? Who's they?" I mean, and the funny part about it is we have these rules and we say they. Who the hell is they? And why are we saying that? You see what I'm saying? That's the first thing that comes to our mind. If we can't think of an individual person that's done it, we say they, and we say they because we know, and we know subconsciously there's a system at play that has nothing to do with us that we didn't create. So we're a slave to the system when you're in this mindset that only takes you somewhere in this realm of being. And when you start reaching outside of the realm of being, believe you me, people understand that people know when it's happening and why it's happening because there's an awakening that happens. So when I started being more consistent with my spirituality, being more consistent with reading and understanding specifically the anything surrounding Solomon, the Kabbalion, the Book of Thoth. When I say the Book of Man, the in depth understanding of the Emerald Tablets, I'm still working at that. But it's a there you go. It's a it's it'll release you from it'll do two things. There are some things that we believe about ourselves that we can't line up. That book began to line up some things about myself that I knew, but that I couldn't actually put a finger on. You see what I'm
Yep.
saying? So
Mm-hmm.
the the knowing where my existence comes from, knowing what the pyramids actually are, the intent of the pyramids, knowing what was in the tablet, or what the importance of what was in the tablet, the basis of its belief, and how it affected the place that I was in and the world around it, and the people that determined to take it to pull the balance away from the life of the people that it supported. All those things was like, okay, I need. It was a struggle in the beginning because it was like you're ripping yourself away from something that you've been taught, you've known all this time, and to go outside of it is comfortable. It is always, um, but the reward from it, the idea that now I'm actually free. There's a freedom in this. There's a freedom in my walk now. I don't have to. There's a standard. I know who I am, and I think for the most part, when it comes to us as uh, as melanated individuals, it's the identity. And so to reach
Yes.
out and to know that there's identity coming from each different direction, and the more you read, the bigger the story is, and the more you realize
Yes.
you're connected. I mean, even the small things like when they talked about Columbus coming to to the to a Mexium, I'll say that because that's what it was. So when they came to a
When
Mexium,
America. Yeah.
exactly, they said he had a woolly haired Negroid on his ship with him, and when he came to the shore of this place, there was someone that looked exactly like the person he had on the ship. So that means that we were already here. You see what I'm saying? The understanding of Pangea, the understanding of that the world was one landmass. To see that we were literally we stretched from wherever we stretched from Africa to wherever in the entire world.
All
It
over
it was
this
for
whole thing.
it was us. It was from us. The understanding of the Moors. I mean, God, man, I can go on for hours and hours and hours. And the things that I paused at the Moors because it resonated with me for the most part. And the reason why is because it was twofold. It resonated with me because the it bled into the Testament of Solomon in a way that when you talk about the Masonic Order, which back then it wasn't called the Masonic Order, it was called more science. It was a system of belief in signs and symbols. So the uh, the um, the square and the compass, the square and the compass, the Shriner's sword, all of those things that had everything to do with the the all-seeing eye that was used. I mean, everything that's been used and changed and bastardized for them was an original symbol that 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 supported us, and it supported us by connecting us to the stars, connecting us to soul of man, connecting us to the stars, connecting us to giving us a real connection to what the earth is, giving us teaching us to honor and respect the earth as it is, and respect the energies, all the rest of the stuff. It's again. I know I'm a little bit all over the place, but
It's
when
all
you
right.
say that it goes into the history of everything that
Mm-hmm.
I've touched
That
bases in.
that is
So
the history, and
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
history of it all. Because that which you are
right,
explaining, it goes back just
mhm,
that many generations back, that many
right,
ages
right,
back. So you're not
right,
speaking on something that it has no connection. It connects all the dots. The one thing that I
right.
will also add on to that is the ideas and belief. When someone can give you an idea and a belief, they also give you an emotion and they give you an image to
That's
go
it.
along with that.
That's it. That's it.
So with every
That's it.
idea that we have about quote unquote what it is that you believe, somebody else gave
Hmm.
you that has no connection to the culture of really who you are as indigenous people to this planet.
Exactly.
To be a
Exactly.
sentient
Exactly.
being,
That's
they
it.
say you sentient. Well, hell, everything's sentient, everything alive.
That's it. That's it. That's
It
it.
don't
That's
mean
it.
nothing.
That's it.
It's the
But who we?
consciousness that come with that sentient. It's the
That's
consciousness
it.
that
That's
come
it.
with that.
That's it.
So
That's it.
everybody got a
Which
soul. If you indigenous and you came through the womb and you ain't came through nobody navel, but if you actually came through a womb, we're not talking about C-section, ladies. We're not talking about
no,
C-section. We're talking about you being
no.
birthed through the navel.
From the cradle.
If
Yep.
you
There
were
you go.
came through the womb, if your if your conception came through the womb, then yeah, you definitely here with a soul and a purpose involved. It's up to you to really understand what that's going to look like. And the history that they've given us with a belief system that's so strong. Most people belief system, it really don't matter what faith system that you in, what religious system you in. And that's a beautiful, strongest thing about faith. Because in the 12 Powers of Man, that's the first time when I read faith was about 7 years ago. Real faith.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
Real faith.
Not just I believe, but true faith.
True faith.
It really puts true faith. Yeah, not just what I believe, what somebody taught me, and I believe in this, and I can recite these words, giving me the understanding, the image of what faith looks like. Know what that is.
Exactly. Right.
And we're disconnected. I was taught that the only disconnection that we have with the all is our ideas. So most people battle with their own ideas about who they are, what their heritage is, and we got a youth today. They don't even want to know their history. They don't even care about it.
No,
you know what I mean.
And the sad part about it is it's a fear. When you say for years that God is outside of you and you need to go find him, then you have completely lost the idea, or you can't own the idea that it could be you. So somebody's constantly pointing in a direction that is outside of yourself. We are God beings. It's okay. This is what I didn't understand for a long time. You tell me that this is my father. You tell me, and let's go this way for right now. You tell me that that's my father, but I can't take any ownership of his attributes. That makes no sense. So when I became a dad myself, it completely changed things for me, because I was like, wait a minute, this is my son. These are my daughters. They look like me. They act like me. They have some of my attributes. They have some of my habits. All of this came from me. So if we're born from a being, you're telling me that I'm born from a being, and but I cannot own his attributes. So the fear is saying, like Psalms 82 says, and I say that ye are gods and children of the Most High. I've had so many battles with people trying to understand and define that scripture. And the scripture above it goes into detail. It says God dwells in the assembly of gods. And it goes down a list, and I'm paraphrasing now. It goes down a list, and it says we're supposed to be here for the widows. We're supposed to be here for the orphan children, the children without fathers. We're supposed to be here for the poor, and all the rest of these things. And it says a list of these things that we're supposed to do, right? And then it says, and I say that ye are gods and children of the Most High, but you'll die like men. The reason why we'll die like men is because we can't own that other piece. If we can't own the piece that we are that, and that we have that, like the book of Tree of Life says, this right here is the, is where that comes from. And even if you study chakras, the crown chakras, where that connection is with the Most High, or the all powerful being. How are we not connected? This is what kills me. And when people fight this, they're not fighting me, they're fighting their own selves. They're fighting their own DNA. They're fighting their own structure. They're fighting their own ability. They're fighting their own power, because they have a fear of taking ownership, or they don't feel like they're worthy of being that or being connected to that at all, period. So it's this thing that I have to stay in fear, a constant state of fear, because this, what they keep pointing to, they keep pointing outside of myself. He's going to come and he's going to destroy me. He's going to kill me if I made some mistakes. There's never a moment where you can take ownership and say, hey, this is me. This is who I am. There's a good side and there's a bad side to this. I have a good side and bad. We never, because we're trying to rip out this piece that is inherently ours. They say God is great and terrible, right? He's to be feared, right? Same thing. We have the same attributes. It's impossible not to see it. But if you if you don't believe that you're worthy of it, you can't take ownership of it, then you'll be on You'll be in this same plane trying to figure things out, or stuck in this mindset for the rest of your existence. And
Yeah.
coming off of that hamster wheel, or coming out of this mindset and actually owning it. Again, it's one thing to read it, like we were talking about earlier. It's one thing to read about it because I read it for a while. And then when I came to begin to take on ownership of it, piece by piece, and I think my moment was when I had this conversation with my aunt, and when we're talking about conflicting information in the Bible, and for the first time ever, I have much respect and love for my auntie. You see what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
right is right and wrong is wrong, and I learned that from them. Right is right and wrong is wrong. So when it came
Right.
time to take ownership of what was wrong, with regards to the reason why they say the Savior came and his actual name, and why he existed, and we had conflict about that. Who told who to what? And it was like, okay, if you're gonna own this to be the truth, or you're not gonna own it at all. And I had to own it. I had to own it to be true, not in disrespect to her, but she was
Right.
the person that led me into the understanding of all this. So we all took a moment to learn, but then we had to come to a place where we had to own it, actually own it. And when you own it, your whole world changes, and it's not like
Yeah.
you're stuck here anymore. It's like I have other options. I have a way to deal with things. And majority of what we fight is spiritual anyway. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
So if we're not,
All
we're
of what
just
we
being
fight is
ruled.
spiritual.
Exactly. We're not being ruled by the place that we're at, or the people that are in this place. We're being ruled. We're actually ruling our lives, and making determination how it looks, or making manifestation with the words that we speak, or seeing the vision and determining that it's going to work, and continue to push, because of what words come out of your mouth is what builds your world and what creates your world. All of those things.
But that's a
So yeah, it's
that's the beauty. That's the whole
hmm
beauty of the
yeah,
occult knowledge is to
that's it.
get to be able to
Mm-hmm.
gain that information, utilize that information,
Mm-hmm.
and create the world that you truly want to live in. And one of the things that really opened my eyes up is when I first got the Kabbalah. This is something that
Mm.
I don't give away. Buy your own.
Get your
These
own.
seven teach it to your children, teach to
Right,
yourself.
right,
Reread it over and over and over again. But the one of
right,
the statements that was made in there in the philosophy, where they talked about, you know, understanding something is viewing it from an observer. When you
right,
begin to
right.
think and move from the principle, that is when you embody it. So, back then I had to learn how to embody something that I didn't even know nothing about. So a lot of
Right.
people are
Right.
going through. So let me ask you this question:
Mm-hmm.
we're in a day now where a lot of people are going through transition and change. We know
Mm-hmm.
what time it is on the planet right now. We know a lot of people are waking up right now. A lot of people are
Right.
looking to really understand what is occult knowledge. Occult knowledge just means something that's hidden from you that they didn't want you to know. That's all occult
That's
means.
all it is.
It's not
That's
that
all
we
it
are
is.
claiming for you to line up and pray to us and beg to us and give offerings to
No,
us. None of those things make any sense. Occult
no.
knowledge, occult means just hidden knowledge. All it means. So with
That's
that
it.
being said, what advice would you give young people, old people, anyone that's on a journey when on how to approach occult knowledge? Because most people, when they hear occult knowledge or they hear, more science, or when they hear, narcissism, when they hear hermetic text, when they hear, the keys of trough, when they hear these different names,
Right.
it makes it up.
That's it. That's
What
it. If it's
what would
just
you say to help anyone who's listening that has a want? I take that back. Who has an intrigue of what it is occult knowledge is versus going back to something they know they don't want to go back to.
the hard part is, it's not even really hard. I've met a lot of people that know that there's something different. They just don't know where to
Right.
go find it. So
Yeah.
connecting to us right now, if you're listening, the very idea that you're listening to this right now means that you know that there's something outside of what you've already learned, or you've already known for most of your life. The beginning stages, again, for me, It was the Nile Valley Contribution Civilization. Something that I actually was able to read and understand. Look, if you are a melanated individual and you had questions about white Jesus, you had questions about all those things about you read Revelations where it says his hair was like lamb's wool, his feet were like fast fine brass burning. At first, I was flaming fire. You know that he's not the white Jesus with the blonde eyes, with the blue eyes and blonde hair. You know it isn't. If you know that already, when you begin to read the Nile Valley Contribution Civilization, it will explain some more of those things in depth. There is also there is. Have you heard of the Black Madonna? The what you know what the White Madonna
Of
is, right?
course.
White Madonna
Yes.
is the Virgin Mary Catholic Church. Do you
They,
know that the you know that the leaders of the church, the cardinals, all of them worship the Black Madonna in secret?
and wear pendants and wear
and we're
pendants
and
and wear
we're the pendant.
pendants.
Exactly.
Shout out
So
to
the idea, yeah,
Tariq Nasheed on that.
there you go. And the idea that that exists and they're wearing it proudly is a key to is a key to knowing that everything that they've given to you, everything they've read to you, everything they've published for you to read is a lie or is the half truth because they don't want you to take hold of what actually it belongs to you so you can make it to another level and there is no longer a way for them to hold you down. There's none. You have to release
Yeah.
yourself from it. When you begin to release yourself from it, look, if you when you let go of to the voice of men, I had to do this because I was in the church. I was in church for a while. I was listening, reading. And one part of the education when it came to becoming a minister, it was this book called Hermeneutics, and it said, um, "Preach what you walk how you preach. If you can't, then no one around you can hear you." So if you're preaching something, if you're speaking something, same with manifestation. If you're talking about manifestation and you're not walking in the way of what you're manifesting, then nobody can hear you. So this particular church that I was a part of, he told me that and he reminded me of this. When it all fell apart, I had to blame myself because I already knew that he wasn't the key to anything that I had moving forward. He wasn't the key to my life. He wasn't the key to my kingdom. He wasn't the key to anything. He was a person I met along the way. And not saying that he's insignificant as a person, but I realize I have the power to control how my life looks, or to determine what happens from one moment to the next. Are there roadblocks? Yes. Are there trip ups? Yes. But the key to anything is consistency. When you know in the back of your mind, and I've met multiple people that have said there's just something about this. I can't be at the church no more. I can't. There's something, I'm called to something greater. You're called to who you actually are. That's who you're called. That's who you're called to. Who you actually are. There's a spiritual being inside of there that you don't have to reach and find the God of heaven. You don't have to reach and find the Most High God. You don't have to reach and find any of that. It's there within you. And the Bible says it says it itself. Greater is He that is within me than he that is in the world. Right? Same thing. It's not changed, but the idea that they want you to sit there and listen to someone that claims to be the end all be all, it puts you in a place where you're taking your belief system and who you actually are and you're putting it on the back burner. How long are you going to put it on the back burner? However long you're going to put it on the back burner is determine how long it's going to take for you to get to what you've been trying to manifest for years and years and years.
Danny said, I would like to tell them to follow what they feels right, and learn about everything. The things are shown you need are in books. That's why they are trying to keep us locked away, hooked on shows and video games. Yes and no. I definitely agree with the video games and all of those things. The one that I'll say to to individuals today is learn what you feel and what you're feeling and how you feel and why you feel
Right.
what you feel. That's going to
Right.
cause some meditation and learning.
Mm-hmm.
So
I believe.
with meditation, you get to put those feelings in their proper place.
Right.
Remember, a lot of people in jail today are dead today because of feeling. And even myself today, I got into an emotional state where I was ready to
Right.
knock someone's head off. So it
Right.
happens really quick. It don't
Right.
take long to be on the opposite side of that when it comes to feelings. So
No.
feelings you got to be really, really careful with because everybody got all these feelings and emotions, but nobody know what's happening in the psyche. No one's what's
Right.
happening in the heart, and no one know what's happening in the mind.
Right.
So how a spirit guiding you if you all discollaborated, you're dysfunctional. How are those things happen when you don't have the balance? If you don't even understand about your chakra system, about the Kundalini system, if you don't even
Right.
understand these basics, that's where they want to hide from you. That's why they made the snakes the scariest. And we're gonna go right into the last part over here. We're talking about signs and symbols. That's why they made snakes so scary.
Hello.
That's
Hello.
why they made dragons the myth. They made dragons some mythical aspect so you couldn't acknowledge
Hello.
the power of the dragon that dwells within you.
Hello.
Hell, in some
Exactly.
occult science, they got the Orus Boreas, that the dragon eating its own
Mm-hmm.
tail. And this is a symbol coming back into self.
Right.
You know? So we out here, we have to be careful. My message would be everything that you think you know, challenge it. Find out about three other different authors, three other different ways, three other different philosophies that deal with that particular belief, subject, idea, feeling, concept, whatever analyst you want to come with.
Right.
Find different ways to compare and gain knowledge so you can come with a basic understanding of what that really means. Because a lot of times, people are going to tell you what they feel versus what they know or what they've learned. So when you ask somebody, well, what you working on right now, they go into a whole slab talking about their past, what been going on with the job, what their significant other is or ain't doing, what the goddamn
Right.
Waihiti tribe is doing and what they doing to hold you back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like when they telling
Yeah.
all of that, they not acknowledging their own power. As you
No.
stated before,
That's
you
it.
got to own it. So we
Yeah.
out here not 100% owning that. Because if I would have owned my emotion today, I wouldn't let someone put me out of character where I was ready to put my hands on them, like really
Right.
ready to lay them out.
Right.
So
Right.
that
Right.
that means there was a part of me that just got loose, and I was ready to do it.
I mean,
I'm
and
talking about in
that's
stance. I'm in stance and all.
that's our archetypal programming. That's what happens. We've been archetypally programmed for years, so we're breaking away from this stuff. You see what I'm saying? So to believe that we're to believe that we're completely broken out of it immediately. I want to believe that that's possible, but it's a work in process like anything. And I remember listening to Claude Anderson, and he was talking about how far we were behind the eight ball as a community, and he's correct. He said the majority of idea of the place that we're at is based on a systematic structure that we're placed in the middle of. There's a lot of things that put us here. You see what I'm saying? But to break out of this mindset, give yourself some time. Give yourself some time
Yes,
to work through it. Give yourself some time
yes.
to read it. And I know the hardest thing to do is push out all the pressing things that are happening in your life. It's hard
Mm-hmm.
to do that, but you have to begin to do that in order for you to really survive. Otherwise, you're just fighting to stay within a system. You see what I'm saying? In order to get out of it, you have to pull away from this. If you have kids, if you have family members that you're responsible for, I get it. I get what it feels like to be responsible for them and have to take care of them. And then at the same time say, hey, I'm awake now and I have to deal with this and I have to do something differently. In order for your family and everything to be taken care of, you have to take care of yourself first. Take care of
Facts.
you. When you wake up, follow it. Listen, celebrate it. You see what I'm saying? Celebrate the knowledge that that you woke up into, and then keep reading, keep listening, understanding. As you're going along with this, your energy is going to pull other people that are believing and doing the same thing. Be open
Yes.
to listen to learn from them. Be open to read a book, and be open to listen spiritually. All of this is important, because if you try to get there too quickly, you're going to burn yourself out, and you're going to hurt yourself. When you fall into the information, take your time, listen, pay attention. I know the pain of needing to take care of it, and to support a family. I get that. And I know the pressures of the world the way it is right now. But at the same time, if you're not in the right mindset, you're going to kill yourself before you get to this place to where you are that you're completely aligned, you're completely in full understanding, and you have the power. You're using your power to do what's necessary to move your life forward. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's easy
Right.
to fool someone. It's hard to convince someone that they're being fooled. Well, that's the
That's
truth,
what
because
it is.
you have to
That's what
understand
it
that when you're taught a lie, that
is.
idea becomes true.
It
It's
does.
difficult to go and tell someone that what they were taught that they knew since they were 5 years old, and now
Right.
they're 40 years old, and you go to tell
Right.
them that everything they knew was a lie. Everybody not
Right.
going to be like, you know what? I'm okay with that. You know what? You're right.
Right.
You're absolutely
Right.
right. For
Right.
those, this is for those who are looking. I don't talk about what somebody else have power over. I got the power. So
Right.
if a
Exactly.
motherfucker think they got power over me, that's cool. You do what you
Right.
do. I don't got no
Right.
problem with that. I don't got to
Right.
speak about that. It's just understanding the power in which I live in every single day, the love that I embody every single day, and the love that I
Right.
embody don't have no damn fear. So
Right.
even the worst thing you can do is kill me, and you can only do that one time. So what the hell?
Right.
You can't do nothing to me, and you can't even kill me. Shit.
No.
Anywho,
No.
I'm gonna die when I get
No.
ready, and I ain't ready just yet. I got some shit to
Right.
do.
Right. And
So
I think on the I mean, I always go back into, I always trying to find out where people are, and I always try to understand where people are, and I think that's part of what I do, or who I am, and understanding that it takes time. The sky's what do you say?
he
The
said,
sky's
he
blue.
said, he said, "What told you the sky wasn't blue?" Well, we all know the sky ain't blue.
We already know that. Yeah, we
You
know
know
that
what I'm saying?
definitely.
We talking we breaking in occult knowledge and
Right.
symbolic. So what's the symbol behind the sky not being blue? Is somebody have a
Exactly.
belief in something that has no knowledge. That's the
Or that
truth.
we're locked into this place, so we're so
Yeah,
tightly locked into this place, we're going with the motions. So when they
yeah, we
say
know that.
get up when the sun goes up, this is the time. All of this stuff that we're living in, that we're born into doing, it's not necessarily what it is for us, and it is supposed to be what it is for us. And if you understand history, or you begin to understand history, you understand it was just a movement in order for someone to be in control. There it is. There it is. Wow. Wow.
See it right here. This right here
Yeah.
is a book on signs and symbols,
Symbols. There you
dreams,
go.
interpretation. The
There you go.
whole encyclopedia. Let me tell you, they got the Mitsubishi symbol is in here. The BMW symbol
Mm,
is in here.
it's in
The
there.
CBS symbol is in here.
It's
All
in
of these, listen, they using
Mhm.
signs and symbols on us every single day.
That's
Your
it.
favorite
Every day.
station has a
Every day.
logo and a sign and a symbol. Your
That's it.
favorite designer got a logo and a sign and a symbol.
There you
Your
go.
favorite superhero got a
Right.
favorite design and a sign and
Sign,
a symbol.
symbol.
We have to
Mm-hmm.
understand that where we are. And yes, Donnelly, we understand that, but we talking about bringing occult science, occult knowledge, not just a
That's
wonder
it.
that if
Yeah.
someone knew that the sky wasn't blue. How did that
Right.
obtain to the occult knowledge that we're sharing tonight?
Right.
Brother,
Right.
I know you are a brilliant brother. I'm not denying that whatsoever. I'm just saying, as far as want to tell someone that the sky is blue, when they walk outside and they see the sky blue, how the fuck did that help them? If I
Right.
can tell them that the blue that they're looking at in the sky is actually connected to their heart chakra. And that's something they should be looking at, or their throat chakra. That's something they should be talking about. Why are we looking up and the throat chakra is blue and the green is in the heart? So then we can go that route in understanding that. But brother, I'm not dissing what you know. That's just not what we bringing forward.
Right.
We talking about the next level.
Right.
Take it to the next level.
Anybody listening, if this is not for them, they're not going to stay on for long. Anyone listening beyond this point, or listening beyond this point, is looking for something, or that we've said something to catch their attention. And let's believe if they have any more questions, they're going to reach out. That's the way it is. And when you come together with anyone, or if anyone's sitting around listening, and again, for the most part, I get it. But you know those people that are breaking out of the mindset when they're reaching out to find information that we're talking about, or reaching to understand the information that we're talking about right now. There you go. There you go.
The infinite mind field.
Mm-hmm.
Now this right here too, what you were talking about, it goes into the history of the pineal gland. It goes into all the different religions across the world that reference the pineal gland, what that pine cone is. It gets into the full symbology of it, where you can go out and look in nature, and now you can be inspired about what you see in nature. It's like when we go outside and we see a tree. When we see a tree, those who are understanding of the tree and what its connection is to life, then you begin to say, you know what? Man, look at this beautiful tree. It don't matter what it got on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know what that means. Yeah, so yeah, we just taking the thing from the symbols.
Right.
Are there any particular signs and symbols that you have used to reprogram your mind, your psyche?
Okay, where do I start?
Anywhere you want to.
Let's talk about the tetragrammaton. Tetragrammaton for me was pivotal because we talk about the name of God, or the Most High, and it's important to understand and know the true name of God. So, if you look at the tetragrammaton, that's the tetragrammaton. So tetragrammaton is the basis of the power of the name of God, Yad Huve. That's the basis of it. So anything in regards to protection for me is important. This is the basis of protection. I'm going to read the exact meaning of it. Give me just a second.
Go ahead. Do you think?
I don't want to mislead anybody. So to give you the exact meaning of it.
Yeah, we here just vibing out to these signs and symbols, and he finna break down the tetragrammaton. Go ahead.
So tetragrammaton is the name of God in Hebrew, the Bible, written for the Hebrew letters that are read from the right to the left. Yad He, Huve, and He. The word tetragrammaton comes from a Greek word to grammatos, which means having 4 letters. So that's important to me because, to me, the term God is generic. It is it's a generic term. There are many gods. There are many people that claim gods, or claim that they believe in a God, and they give him a definition, and that's what it is. If we're going to talk about God, let's be very specific about the names of God, and that's what it was for me. So Adonai, Elohim, Ea, Eloah, all those names mean something to me, and it leads to what the symbol. It leads to the sacredness of the same symbol. So the true God. So we talk about Moses and the burning bush. There's a specific name connected to the God of the God that was in the burning bush. All of those are eventually symbols. And so that's what it is. That's what that means for me. Then it's the square and the compass. For me, again, like we were talking earlier, it was the measurement and the balance for the soul of men when it comes to the more science outside of the Masonic order. That the all seeing eye, the understanding of the all seeing eye, which is the pineal gland, the understanding of of all the chakras that are in our body, the alignment of those things, signs and symbols. Um, there was, oh goodness, I don't have it, man. There was a there was there are symbols when it comes to aligning your chakras, base chakra, um, um, heart chakra, solar plexus, all of those. There are symbols on them that mean something, and I'm gonna have to. I should have brought that with me. I apologize. I didn't bring it, but I wanted to read those. I wanted to read all through all of those, so
Well,
people
we
would
we
understand.
we'll do another episode and we'll bring
Yeah,
some information and get more in depth. So we
specifics.
can do
Yeah.
like a little slide presentation to where we can really
Hmm.
get into depth. Because there are definitely some things that I would like to get in depth with
Right.
tonight. I really wanted to just really share that what that occult knowledge looks like, what is
That's
being
it.
a historical, what that looks like, and
Hmm.
how we have to utilize signs and symbols. Because a lot of
Right.
time people don't recognize the signs and symbols that's
Right.
presented to us every single day. They set
That's
off a
it.
vibration. All signs and
That's it.
symbols have a vibration.
That's it. That's
So
definitely.
yeah, so just to piggyback on your tetragrammaton, and was Metatron Cube was huge for me. It
Okay,
was it
gotcha.
was it really started with just a circle and a dot. Cause that
Okay,
dot, the
gotcha.
circle and the dot, just I would just sit there and just be like,
That focal point. There you go. That's focus. That
so.
focus.
And then once I got into alchemy, then I started understanding what that one pointed minus was all about.
It.
What was
That's
that
it.
give and take was really all about? How to
Mhm.
purify,
That's
how to
it.
go through these coagulation stages. So
That's it.
it's being able to utilize the understanding of what it is that you're gaining, not just go and tell somebody, well, I read so and so. Okay, so how do you use that in your life on an everyday basis?
Exactly.
Are
How do
you
you
able to
use it in your life?
transmute energy? Because today, if I would have transmuted that gentleman energy, I wouldn't want to knock his head off, but I
No.
did.
No.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So
Exactly.
and I say this, that warrior spirit in me will never go nowhere. So if you're playing a game, love will get you killed just as fast as
Exactly.
anger will.
It will
Cause I
get you
love
murdered.
me. I love me. And so that part, I don't think I ever go anywhere. I definitely
No.
could have did a little bit better than I did today.
Right.
But
Hmm.
again, those signs and symbols, it's an energy thing. It's all
That's it.
energy. And we don't look at signs and symbols as principles. So you think about on the walls of Egypt and all over the world and down in Mexico and down in Peru, down in Australia, they left all of these symbols. And it's
That's
up
it.
to those who have raised their level of consciousness that they're able to decipher the symbols. A
That's
lot
it.
of people can read books, but not able to decipher the code.
That's it. That's
There's
it.
even code when you read in books. It's
That's
based
it.
upon a level where you at, and whatever you're deciphering, whatever you're revealing, that's for the individual.
That's it. That's
And
it.
that's fine.
That's it. And
You know,
that's a manifestation as well. I mean, the old symbols, the old symbols are based on a system of manifestation as well. There's a lot of there's a lot of symbolism when it comes to Solomon as well. There's a lot of pinnacles of Solomon, the of Venus, Mars, Venus, Mars, Saturn, the Moon, the Sun. All of those are there are multiple symbolisms in it, and multiple means. They're there for protection. They're there for prosperity. They're there for all different types of things. But it also has a symbolism, and it has a season that's connected with them. So the season of the Moon, the season of Saturn, the season
yep,
of the stars. All of the rest of this has everything to do with the alignment of something and the power that's connected when those things are aligned. You see what I'm saying? If you ever read an astrological sign, sometimes it goes into the idea that now the moon is in Venus and the sun is in Mars, but it all
Exactly.
is based on that same symbolization. So when it talked about how you're supposed to be feeling, or you should be feeling this way because this is in this now, or Saturn is in Cancer now. I mean, all those things have a symbol and has energy. If you're aligned in it, you'll begin to feel it. You see what I'm saying? So it's not just words or not just something that someone says. It's been tricked to make you believe that that's what it is and that should rule your life. No, it's a symbol and it's an alignment. Whether you're taking advantage of that alignment at the time, yes. If you don't, oh well. But when I tell you, I can't begin to tell you
Oh yeah, we
the
can
things
go
that
into
have
signs and
happened
symbols all night. We can do
all
this
night.
all
I
night
mean,
long because
and the things
we
that
didn't
have
even touch
happened.
on animal. We didn't even touch on animal totem. We didn't even
No,
touch on that. We talking about
mm,
signs and
mm.
symbols.
That's a
Yeah, we're not
whole
even
nother.
touching
That's
it.
a whole nother.
That's
Yeah, that's
yeah.
a whole nother system.
We're not
That's
even
it.
gonna do it. We're not even gonna
That's
do it.
it.
We're not even gonna do
That's
it. We're
it.
not even gonna do it.
Right.
We'd be here
Right.
all night. So
That's
that is
it.
the
You're right.
depth of
Hmm.
what occult knowledge, being unhistorical, and
Right.
understanding what signs and symbols mean all around us. Even the
Hmm.
stop sign that we have is in red. That's based on
That's
your root
it.
chakra, telling you to
There
stop.
you go.
That's where you
That's
get
it.
the red, yellow, green at. They're giving
That's
you
it.
understanding of your root chakra, but they put it
Your root
upside down.
chakra.
So they put your root
Right
chakra on the top in the red.
on the top.
They
That's
put the
it.
green
That's
on the
it.
bottom. But the green supposed to be on the top because the green comes from
That's
your
it.
heart.
That's
So they
it. That's
giving
it.
us the
Heart
signs and
chakra.
symbols all around us every single day. The speed
That's
limit
it.
are numbers. Those numbers are actually signs and symbols.
That's it.
Your
That's it.
address is
That's it.
signs and symbols.
Symbols.
Your
Yeah.
house that you in is a sign. It's built a particular way.
Numerology. There
Those
you
are
go.
signs
That's
and
it.
symbols.
That's it.
Everything
That's it.
around us are signs and symbols. So
Right.
please get familiar with your signs and symbols. And you know
Right.
what? Now, next week I got an episode already. Week after that, we're gonna do some animal totalism out here because I think people are really are slipping on what these animals and insects really come up to show us. Because
Oh
I had a
man.
beautiful dream last night
Mm-hmm.
on a huge Siberian dog. It was like white
Mm.
and yellow, and he was like just
Man.
crawling on me and just moving around. And I was like, "Hey, bro,
Right. Right.
let's talk about this. Let's talk about this." So this is signs and symbols. Can you bring those signs and symbols back to you?
Right. Right. Right.
Hey, this dude.
Oh man.
Hey, somebody help this guy, man. Somebody get down. I don't know tell right now. Somebody get him. Somebody get him, man. Dude out here is going in. But yeah, man. It's just my closing remarks. We want to close them out in God energy.
Hmm.
So we're
Okay.
gonna close them out because we already took them through Unhistorical. We took them through the occult knowledge. We had many books that we talked about through this whole concept. I showed many books already, and here are a couple of more books. If you want to get into astrodynamics, you want to get in the astral plane, you can pick
Hmm.
up Robert Bruce. It's a real simple ABC 1, 2, 3. He give you simple exercises to do in order to enhance your ability to astral travel.
Okay.
If you really want to talk about some divine feminine energy, this is definitely one to really get to really understand that Shakti energy.
Okay.
It's more of a Hinduism mythology. If you're
Right.
familiar with Shiva and
Yes.
Brahma and Vishnu, so
Yes.
it really
Yes.
gets into that feminine aspect of that dynamic of goddess energy and that
Right.
Shakti energy. And
Right.
man, that book was amazing to me. It put me in a
Yeah.
place to understand feminine energy in ways that I never conceived it to be that
Right.
powerful.
Right.
And it's funny, after reading that book, this before my grandmother transitioned, and I'm sitting
Mm.
down and I'm rubbing her feet, and my spirit asked me, so why don't you treat every woman like you treat your grandmother? And I say, damn,
Mm.
Shakti energy. Holy bejeebies, man.
Mm.
So,
That's it.
and I'll close a
That's it.
remark. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say that God energy. Hey, what would you give to the people on that God energy on this closing remark?
It is not as complicated as they make it seem. It
Right.
isn't. Simplify it. If we are conduits, if we are born into this earth, give yourself more credit than what the world is giving you. Give yourself more credit than what the person in front of you is saying. I used to say something to myself because I've, I've been, I'm like 5'6", just about below average, or just a little bit, or maybe just a bit above average. But I have to say something to build myself up. So because I'm here 5'6", it doesn't mean that my spirit is the same height. 25 feet
Mm-mm.
tall, 10 feet tall, 50 feet tall. Doesn't matter. That's who I am. The God energy is ginormous. I know that's not a real word, but it's ginormous. It's enormous. It is amazing. It is something that can. It is something that you can't outrun. You see what I'm saying? I want you to know before you get off this that you're more powerful than what anyone else has ever told you. You're more. You're. If you believe that you are, then that belief. If you magnify that to the 25th power. That's what your God energy is, and
Mm.
more. It doesn't end. It just doesn't end with the voice of someone. It doesn't end or begin with anybody else's voice. No one can control the life, your existence, your wants, your desires, the world that you're building. No one can control that. No, not one person can say outside of themselves to speak into your life. You're the only one that can speak into your life. That is your God energy to speak. Your words have power. If you don't believe it, think back when you were a child. If you don't believe it, think back when you got angry and something happened. If you don't believe it, think about the most fond feeling that you had in your heart, or when you decided that to be with the person that you're with, or when you're walking down the street and for no specific reason, you're just on top of the world. That is the ability to have this energy that does not come from a place that is like this. It doesn't come from this place. It comes from that energy that is inside of you. That is God energy.
Man,
Feminine
that's
and
beautiful.
masculine. It's the same.
Yeah,
It's the same.
yeah. That God energy is what it is. What it is.
Yes, it
I'm gonna
is. It
stop
is.
my ending closing remarks
Mm-hmm.
by hearing something that KRS once said in the interview with Nick Cannon. I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember the interview. It was a
Right.
short. I heard him say it,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Oh man, that's cool." I said I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna reuse that, but I'm definitely gonna give him the kudos on that because I didn't come up with it.
Gotcha.
But he said, "God, get God like a gun." He said, "I'm gonna give you your gun. It's God, universe, nature." He said, "That's your gun."
Mm.
So since I saw
It's
that, I was
perfect.
like, man,
Perfect.
what is it to know you have a gun on you at all
Mm.
times? And a lot of
Yes.
times we have to understand that God has a nature, God has a function and principle. It has laws, it has an understanding. It is omnipresent at all time. God is a pure
Always.
energy of consciousness. God is not
Mm-hmm.
an God is not an energy of ideas. Ideas come
Mm-hmm.
from that concept of God.
Mm-hmm.
God energy is the evolution of every soul right now that's listening or
Mm-hmm.
going to hear me later
That's
or
it.
is on their own journey. It does not matter. You still possess the same God energy. There's
That's
no
it.
separation of God energy within you, only your
Nope.
ideas. In
That's
the
it.
Kabbalion, they say the all is mind, the universe is mental. If the
Universe is
universe is mental and the
mm-hmm.
all is mind, you better keep real aware of what that God energy is and what you're really thinking
That's it.
about on an
That's it.
everyday basis. Because I
That's it.
promise you, that God energy is way more impactful. It is way more loving than you
That's
could
it.
ever be talking down on yourself. If you
That's
knew
it.
God energy, you would never feel a depressed moment in your life.
No,
If you
you
knew
wouldn't.
love and
You
you
would
knew
never.
God energy, you wouldn't be mad. You wouldn't be fearful. You wouldn't be worried. You wouldn't be.
You couldn't.
Now, don't get. Now, I ain't gonna say you won't have spikes like myself go in and out.
Mm-hmm.
God energy still get your ass whooped. Don't get it
Mm-hmm.
twisted. Okay, but we're not advocating on the violence. We're here to
Right.
protect. We here to protect our loved one. We here to protect our family. We here to create for our family. We here to do the best that we know how to do for our family. And I just want to say, man, I appreciate your time tonight. You sharing the love with the family, you know, on all this occult knowledge. And trust me, you know, me and you could go hours, but I know I gotta get right. I gotta get these grandchildren together and make sure everybody good. So yeah, Papa life don't end. But I tell you, man, I appreciate you all the time, man. I thank you. And for everybody that's listening, thank you for another episode of Talk That Crap. We'll catch you next week. Peace, love, and prosperity.
Peace.